We are live. Thank you for joining me for season 1, episode 4 of Helstrom. This episode is called Containment. It's rated TVMA, so will this video be. There will be spoilers for basically anything MCU or adjacent that had come out by the time this episode first premiered. And another episode I absolutely fucking loved. When I did my video on the first episode of the show, longtime subscriber and friend of mine, Arts Cafe, left a comment saying that this fourth episode was really, I forget his exact wording, and my rest should fuck to check right now, but yeah, he said this episode was really something, and yeah, it might be the best one so far. I thought it was great to see more of Yen, and so basically Yen is he is making things worse for Victoria so that, Father Helstrom, Big Daddy H, has something to bargain with. Jesus Christ, that is, not exactly him, but yeah, again, they're doing such a good job, just little, drip feeding, several mysteries, and gradually we understand what's going on. I wasn't sure how soon they were gonna answer that, but yeah, I appreciate them not drawing it out, and I really appreciated Damon finding out, Anna actually coming clean about, the killers, and some really great character stuff. Learning more about what, and now they even have a name, the Blood, and learning more about what they do, how they fight evil, and I feel like this thing of keeping them in these, medically induced comas, basically. It's a imperfect solution to a very complex problem um, within the world of the show. Um, and obviously, I don't believe that such a thing happens in real life, but I do think we have to normalize the fact that, sometimes you don't have a solution that is 100% like something you really think is wonderful. I appreciate that logic can be taken to some really dark places, but you know, yeah, obviously, I'm saying, also do keep an eye on, be careful not to go too far with it, but we have to be careful not to let the lack of a perfect solution mean that we just let a problem keep being a problem. I think that might just about be it for the overarching. The fact that they mentioned that she's getting worse, Victoria, which we find out by the end of the episode is because of the skull, and think I think that is that does cover. Yeah. Um, the Yes. Let's. At first I wasn't sure how long they were gonna. I was thinking maybe they're not gonna resolve the thing that happens before the, before the opening credits, before like the end of the episode. But yeah, I think it was only like 10 minutes. So appreciate that as well. Yeah. The Yeah. I mentioned that I'm not a big fan of calling things demonic that are just like things we don't like. I do think I mean, essentially, you could make a case that the episode and the scene, um, yeah, Gabriella and the priest, as essentially saying rape is demonic. Yeah, I as long as we don't let us, yeah, you know, believe that, oh, it's like a supernatural thing. We need like a supernatural solution, or maybe there's no solution. Like as long as we don't take it there, yeah, I agree. It is, yeah, it's one of the worst things that any human being can do to another. So that I do appreciate. Yeah, I think that might cover. Yeah, great tension and suspense during. And I also kind of appreciate the very effective expectation subversion. I thought there was going to be a bigger thing, and then oh, they take him out pretty quickly. Taker lives up to his name, takes him out very very quickly, and it's like, well, we gotta deal with this within an hour though. And let's see, I think right, and also jumping ahead slightly, but when yeah, when they go back to the scene after having a little bit of other stuff, the yesterday stuff, all the lights going out, like you know, the hope is leaving the room, kind of thing. Oh, and also the thing about she's here from Rome, not to study under him, but to keep an eye on him for the Vatican, because they also feel like this, yeah, ticking time bomb, dude. Um, they watched that movie too, Raoul, and let's see. I think that does pretty well bring us to the. So let's see. They have the yeah the. I really really like. I've said it before. Anna's my favorite character. The bit where she's just like making breakfast in like a t-shirt, and just and the fact that the toast gets burnt. See, she made the classic mistake of setting it to the setting that completely like just leaves the bread black and just yeah. Nobody knows exactly why there is a setting on a toaster for that, but there you go. And yeah, you know the someone's at the door, so she opens, not knowing who it is, just opens the door. You know, yeah, just wearing what she's wearing, and I'm sorry, but her dialogues with Gabriella are just to die for. This is, let me guess, you're here for Damien. Too bad. You could do better. And Gabriella does a good job. So could you. I mean, you were attacked, right? That's too bad. And yeah, meeting doesn't last long. I love the little, like, just, oh, this is a nice place. Well, it took some doing, but took some of mom's money too. Yeah, she got committed, so we took it. What Anna means to say is, I got power of attorney, and I split it, and yeah. And the thing with yeah, Taker explaining some more about keeper demons, and that thing about we I think we might know where it is. Anna, the skull, which, like, Jesus Christ, this guy, every single time he talks to Anna, it's like, show me the demonic skull. Change the record already. But yeah, and she just like starts to leave. Anna, we were having a meeting, and she's like, oh yeah, it's in San Francisco. You can thank me later. I just her entire attitude and the way she carries herself, just wonderful. They knew they had gold. The writing and the performance are just so good. And yeah, she at first is not very receptive to I'm coming with you to San Francisco. Yeah, that's gonna be a no for me. And yeah, like they do end up going there together. And let's see, I think that might be when. Yeah, let's see, is that when? Right, I love the little things. Yeah, that the something like the thing about what was they said yeah, Taker's like well, I have my own trauma or whatever it was, and so does Julie. I'll speak from my own trauma, thank you very much. Um, but yeah, Julie, taking out yeah, um, Victoria, getting worse, and the guards like, I swear she wasn't like that earlier, and she can't feel the sun on her skin, but she can remember it. But they took her babies. They were adorable, and they would just. I'm like, it's just, yeah, so heartbreaking to hear about. Yeah, and let's see. So yeah, the Anna and yeah, the Hellstroms arrive. And oh, right, I appreciate the also the conversation about there's only one question: how do I kill him, or how do we kill him? Something like that, But we can't. The what was it? The law of thermodynamics. I think one of the laws of thermodynamics was the energy can neither be created nor destroyed. But it can be contained. And let's see. Yeah, the thing about is that ethical? And I think that might bring us to the right. Yeah, when Dr. Julie says, oh, she looks like she's doing really badly. Ready the chair. Jesus Christ! I don't think electricity is. Oh, it's for getting her out of the room. Gotcha. But yes, yeah, the Hellstroms arrive, and Yen's not here, man. And the door. Well, let's see. The door was locked, but the alarm wasn't on. I guess she doesn't mention if the door was locked. Anyway, and then yeah, uh, um, they pretty quickly find um, the remains of the late Tate, and yeah, she does the thing of like reading, and she's like, oh, this guy was also a killer. I can't get a good read. I don't know. I guess I'm mugging or something. And you know, great bit with it. I so yeah, she's lying. She's lying to him, which by the end of the episode, she no longer is. At least about this. Um, but yeah, she fuck, what's the word again? She gets the yeah. He notes about yeah. She says she can't even imagine or something like that, and then he's like, oh, we don't have to. And camera shows the security camera, cut to them watching it, and yeah, really cool to see Yen kill the yeah, because last time we just saw him grab the thing that we had found out it was fake, and then walking to yeah, we didn't see anybody new killed here, but we did see the priest possessed. He did manage to stab that one. Yeah, that is ouch, right in the fucking face. I think the eye, Jesus, with a needle, like that thing can go deep. But yeah, let's see, and you have the thing about, oh, this is, Damon is saying this is I'm sorry, but it's, we all know it's a reference to Damien. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So anyway, the yeah, she, he says, oh, this is horrible, and she's like, oh, maybe he deserved it or something like that, and like, I thought you said you didn't know him. I mean, I know his reputation, because like there's a Danish saying. I'm not sure if it's in other languages as well. Don't worry, I'm not gonna say it in Danish. Roughly translates to, "What the heart is full of, um, yeah, spills out the mouth." Let's go with that, something like that. Yeah, she spent so long thinking, you know, they deserve it, that now she doesn't really, she can't keep from saying, you know, like, to her it's almost offensive that he's saying, oh, this poor guy, because she's sitting there thinking, this fucking killer of women, multiple. Let's see. Yeah, and then we have the yeah, it was really cool seeing the thing. Yeah, we have the thing. It's only gonna last an hour. Then what are we doing here? This isn't a regular hotel, is it? And he keeps ringing the bell until a guy comes out, and we can tell the two have history. And after staring him down silently whilst wearing sunglasses that allow you to perceive and interpret subliminal messages, he says, "We want a room." A certain John should have called ahead, made a dinner reservation, and yeah, like Gabriella, again being very empathetic, points out they have families, and Taker says, well, they already grieved them, and yeah, I don't like it, but it's like, and she realizes Julie knows, and then Julie tells her the Vatican also knows, which, like, I mean, if we're being honest, is not the worst thing they covered up. Yeah, just and it's such a great picture of how, like, yeah, people you trust can keep horrible secrets if they don't think you're willing to accept a harsh truth. And yeah, like this thing of, what's the word, keeping there's a word for it. Yeah, maybe it's systematized. The way that sometimes something horrible can end up systematized. Because he shows up. And like he and Finn don't like each other, but Finn isn't gonna say, "Oh, you brought another person for me. I don't like doing that." No. He accepted that job. This is just how they do this. And yeah, he points out, well, do you know what happens when Damon exercises? They grow stronger, and then they return. And let's see. Yeah, the thing about, has gesturing towards Gabriella, has she been vetted? And he's like, she doesn't need to. She's with me. I think maybe they have the vetting process for a reason, dude. Because, like, by the end of it doesn't take her very long to say, this has to stop. And yeah, I think that might. Yes, I believe that brings us back to, so yes. Yeah. At first, she doesn't. Oh, right. This is, yeah, shit. This is when. I'm afraid I forgot his name. Cop BF shows up looking for Chris. Oh, Chris Yen. Yes, Chris. And I love the thing about Damon is a great character as well. He's the so who are you? Now there's a mouthful. That took me years to find out. Actually, let's start with my name. I'm Damon, and he reaches out his hand, like, because he's trying to butter this guy up, because he's like, yeah, um, it's difficult to get around the, obviously they can't tell the truth, so it's yeah, um, and it was a surprise, at first, like, oh, a cop, shit, what crime is like being covered up by a cop so that he can go home early? No. Why is there a cop here? And it turns out, Chris's boyfriend didn't love this thing of, like, oh, it's so funny that Damon has to, oh, he's mistaken for being gay. That's so embarrassing for a straight guy to be thought as gay. Like, come on, man. Can we just fucking stop it? As a straight guy, can we just not? Like, it's Jesus Christ. The episode is like from 2020. Fuck me. But let's see. I did really appreciate that Cop BF is not like just a walking gay joke. He's neither hyper masculine nor effeminate. The two types of gays that a lot of people think every gay man is one of those two. There's nothing in between. And, then, like, I watch a bunch of members of the LGBT plus community right here on YouTube. A lot of them are nothing like the stereotypes. Some of them, are. It's not always 100% incorrect, but the neutral to positive stereotypes, I have not seen anyone live down to the negative stereotypes, which are usually just created by homophobic and transphobic people to try to keep people from empathizing with them, which is why Stonewall needed to happen. Let's see. I think, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I believe violence should be the absolute last resort. I think that was a case where, yeah, what the fuck else were they going to do? The cops were harassing them over and fucking over. Now, let's see. I think, was there Yes, the fact that, as soon as he talks to Anna, he's like, "We're not treating him right. You have to treat him better. I love him. I want him to be okay." Just like, I know he didn't say those exact words, but that's what's being communicated. And let's see. Yeah, very clever that, she's like, "Oh, I sent him overseas. I didn't really give him a choice. He said for me to tell you, I'm sorry, I forgot. You're right. I have not been treating him well. This is a fickle business, but I take full responsibility." And we get some the bear style close-ups on yeah, and yeah, I thought that worked really well. And the thing about, she did mention, and we've seen it, we saw it in the third episode as well. She can approximate, warmth, and or fake it, something like that. But yeah, like, it was genuinely a relief. Like, I was genuinely worried that he was gonna say that he's gonna, like, look around. He doesn't believe her that Chris isn't there somewhere. He's gonna look around, right. And I do appreciate this just a very casual, matter of fact reveal that Chris is, not straight, gay, bi, pan, one of them. They're not interchangeable, obviously. Yeah, that's that is very 2020. We don't need to make a big deal out of it, because it's not really a big deal. It's just it's not a negative thing, at least. And also, yes, the fact that he has a long-term partner in Cop BF who loves him, that's again, obviously there's not technically anything inherently wrong with someone who just has a bunch of casual hookups. um, but yes, there are gay men who are in long-term monogamous relationships, and that should also be represented. And we technically already have the some representation for the more casual hookup in Anna, who is definitely not strict. I'm not 100% certain if she's sapphic or bi or pan or what exactly, but yeah, I think, does that bring us to the yeah the so yes, after that he does realize Damon is like, you're not just doing this, are you? And I also really like the line about, so what's this worth? 30 grand, 2.3 mil. So he was close, ballpark. Also, the thing about, I agreed to be a team with you, not the JV squad. Okay, you cannot call Taker junior. He is definitely varsity. Junior varsity squad. Jesus Christ. Um, and yeah, let's see. I think that brings us to, yeah, really effective when Gabriella is walking down the halls and sees all these people in beds. Really nicely done. I mean, that took a lot of extra effort. It was they had to actually get all those extras cast and costume, get the props for the to make it look like they're in a coma, very nicely done. Because, and is there for a reason. We and Gabriella are like, this is so fucked up. This is, yeah, not the exact words she would use. Hers would actually be significantly more sweary. I had to clean it up a bit, but yeah, um, really, really nicely done. I think, I don't know. I if when we have stuff like this, stories where the supernatural, I like when it's kind of messy. That was also something I quite appreciate about Constantine. You know, damn, there's some bits in that movie. Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't watched the show. I don't have any problem with doing it. Just don't have access to it right now. Uh, Deus Deacon, sorry, certainly made it sound good. In my defense, for a while I didn't know if he pronounced it Deus or Deus. Um, so I got used to pronouncing it the other way until he made a video where he pronounced it the way he wants it pronounced, and then I'm trying to catch up. Uh, yes, that. So yeah. Um, Ultimately, Anna does spill the blood. I mean beans. She explains Harry's code, and yeah, the thing about how am I supposed to let them live, which is, you know, when she puts it like that, one can understand where she's coming from. But he also points out, doesn't this make it okay for someone else to hunt you? And she doesn't make an ethical argument. She says, let him try, because to some extent she does feel like, well, maybe it's not technically ethically right, but who's going to stop me? And yeah, the CG is slightly dodgy when she's like, yeah, dealing with the corpse. I think it was smart that they don't show it very much, which might also have been a budget thing. And I do appreciate there's literally no way for them to do that. Like, you couldn't show it floating and also like it with the practical effects, it would have been an absolute nightmare to do that. And I mean, they do practical effects at the end of the episode. Yeah. Also, her cleaning up the blood with the mop, whilst one of Robert Rodriguez's relatives stands there complaining about how Cheech Marin is tending the bar. Um, yeah, I thought it was really compelling stuff with the Hellstroms. And the fact that, yeah, by the end he does sort of understand, if not necessarily approve. And the thing about, okay, I'm talking so much about the Hellstroms. There's other stuff I want to talk. Yeah, Yin. Um, I like the detail that there's blood on his shirt. He left in a hurry. Didn't change shirts, which like ultimately doesn't take a huge amount of time. Yeah, he gets to that place near the playground where the children play, and gets into the um, yeah, under there, and not he's clearly not a fan of the spiders getting on his shoes, starting to crawl up his leg, which fair enough. I've played Penumbra too. Um, and later, the skull, commands him to put a dead one in his mouth, and he's like, "I already said I played Penumbra. You think I want to end up like, with that fucked up tongue like that one guy who wrote about it in excruciating detail?" And let's see, I think the okay, so some more Hellstroms. Yeah, the bit where she talks about she's got the little container of all the trophies that she was given, and she said mom hated it, and because I was a child I thought she hated that meant she hated me. And she says, oh, mom was Victoria was weak for keeping this. um, and they still don't fully confront. Maybe by the end of the season, and certainly it's not like the stuff Anna says and does is meant to be taken as, oh, that's a good way to live your life. I think that does pretty well bring us to the yeah. God damn, when mother is being taken back, and the patients are wailing, and she's getting upset, and she's like, "You did something to my room," and then she says, "Take it away, and I'll take away the cancer I put in you." And then there's this flashback to where she says, "It broke my heart to put that tumor in you." Um, yeah, that's incredibly fucked. I fucking love it. Um, and yeah, she says, "What you think I've come to bargain, Kitara?" And yeah, they end up just lifting the chair and putting her back in the room where, yeah, if Big Daddy H does not get what he wants, he is going to let Mother Victoria and Kithara die. Or is Kithara the real name for Mother, maybe? Let's see. I also really love the thing about, no, he's a demon. What does that make his kids, Um, also the bit where, like Damon tells Anna, "Hey, I think, I want to be there for you." And it's so sweet. Like, we got to normalize, men trying to really be there for the women in their lives, and just, yeah, like that sort of thing. I always feel like that's sweet. And then there's the additional layer of, they both they're survivors of childhood trauma, child abuse, and they're gonna, stronger together. If you have experienced that, it's extremely important that you have someone. There's no shame in getting help from someone else. We got to get away from this bullshit individualist, garbage that just hurts people. Um, Fuck, did I mention? I really love the line about who would buy this. Well, some of them just buy it and store it because they say they need it, and some of them send cars into space for fun. Appreciated that. And fuck, do you remember? Do you remember 2020 when we thought, oh, that's gonna be like the most ridiculous thing a really rich guy is gonna do anytime soon, and then Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah. Um, I think. Does that bring us? Um, I guess I do want to briefly acknowledge. Yeah, for a little while we were wondering where was Donald Trump. I think Seth Meyers did a really great job pointing out. He's always on camera. One way or another. And pointed out, once Trump was back, why the fuck did he say, was it like henceforth known as Rocket City? And he's like, it's already known as Rocket City, has been for a while. Like, I don't know. I mean, we don't really need more examples of cognitive decline. I'm not even sure if this necessarily means that he's better or worse than before. He was just mysteriously missing for days, and we're not told what happened to or with him in that time. He showed up, a bruise on his hand. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not saying like clone or body double or some conspiracy theory bullshit, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like we either, like, maybe at some point we'll find out the truth, but they are really eager to keep secrets about Donald Trump. Yeah. Maybe it's because of, maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know. Just hypothetically in Minecraft. I think, does that bring us to the, but yeah, right. So yeah, the extra layer that, they're both survivors of child abuse. And then we get the comic booky shit that I fucking love, that it's, the son of a demon saying to the daughter of a demon, hey, I'm here. Let's fight our demon father together as a unit. And I fucking love it. I live for this. I'm sorry. Call me a just like uncultured swine, but I fucking love just the, yeah. I think that brings us. Let's see what's left. There's obviously the very ending. I guess that might actually be all that's left. Oh, right, yes. Shit. I did briefly want to note the thing about the thing. So how do we get rid of the body? I don't know. That was Yen's job. Yeah. And the thing about, let's dump it into the river. Yeah. That's not gonna work. There's so many things that could go wrong there. Holy shit. And yeah, he takes his pyrokinesis to another level. I love the bit with, that's got to be CG, computer effect in one way or another. That really looked convincing, where his eyes got like blacker briefly, or around the eyes. You know what I mean? And then got better. But yeah, that is clever because burning a body. I mean, that's one of I hear. That's a really, if you do it long enough at a high enough temperature, all that's left is ash. So that's what he's doing. Maybe that could be his new job from now on, if he ever tires of ethics. Um, Teaching ethics. I'm not saying it's unethical to burn a corpse. Although, I mean, if it's someone you serial killed, maybe. But yeah, I also really the thing about right, and her actually like being like, are you okay afterwards? She's not like, good job done, let's move on to the next thing. She does care. It's just buried deep beneath. Yeah. I think that brings us to the other. Wait, where does that get us? That gets us. It gets us somewhere. It gets us to. Yes, I wanted to note the thing about the first thing he suggests is call the cops, because all they did was stumble upon a dead body. They haven't done anything wrong, and she immediately shuts it down. And it's one of those things like, I mean, normally, like, okay, a cab obviously, but like normally I would say maybe hide, yeah, disposing of a dead body is like very intense, especially like, and Damon didn't even know she was like killing people. She's been doing this for years, if I understand correctly. And yeah, like it's his first day. Quack quack quack. Weren't they ducks? Shit, I forget which animal it was. Hopefully that's enough that you understand the reference. um yeah, I think the that might just about be the. But yeah, normally I'd say this is very intense, but I can kind of appreciate where she's coming from. This is, and that's again imperfect kind of thing, because like, yeah, they wouldn't be able to pursue the father. Um, I think, right. I also like the thing about I mean, as a kid you couldn't even draw well. I don't need art skills to sell them. Just yeah. And yeah, after all that, she says she's going back to her hotel, even though he was offering to drive. Yeah, and yeah, he goes back alone, opens the door alone, and finds out he's not alone. And yeah, um, that was really clever, because like earlier we were told well, and when Damon exercises a demon, sure, it's good cardio, but they just come back stronger. And yeah, McGoth is back stronger, and now helping their, yeah, the elder Helstrom, the Elderstrom. And let's see, we have the, yeah, the they have the conversation. And I love the little pause, because yeah, like at the end of the day, he's been like seeing his mother and watching her deteriorate for 20 years, I guess, something like that. It's certainly been 20 years. I don't know if he was able to visit her for all that time. His sister, he hasn't really heard from. She doesn't even respond most of the time. Don't want to, like, yeah, normally you'd say, of course, I'm not going to sacrifice my sister. But then again, she did break my favorite toy. But yeah, that pregnant pause was very nicely done. And yeah, like, I mean, okay, you got rid of Magoth. The offer wasn't from him. He was just the errand boy. And yeah, That is very intense. This thing of like, yeah, one of he only needs one of you, and he prefers to get Anna, and if not, he will kill their mother. Which, like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, he never said demons were the good guys. He is the monster demon, the monster, and yeah, I really love the fight. It's great. It's this thing of like, some of their powers are a little special effects heavy, but yeah, with enough time, it's not extremely, like, it's not like impossible, and they don't have to use CG for this kind of telekinesis fight. It's like wire work and props. Wonderful. And yeah, the you know the bit where um, Damon uses the table as a shield, lifting that up, and then he throws McGaw. And I loved the little psych out because, like, yeah, it looked like he was down for the count, which you could understand from that kind of fall. But then he starts moving, and yeah, he knocks over the bookshelf, which Bruce Campbell is a little bit of an expert here. Yeah, it can take a while for you to get out from under a bookshelf. And yeah, he jumps on top of it just to hurt it even more. And then she shows up and uses her telekinesis to throw him away, lift the bookshelf off of Damon. Yeah, it's just really, really cool stuff. Absolutely loved it. And the little, the college kid goes, "Thank you," before, like, passing out from the, yeah. Really, really nicely done there. Fuck me, I can hardly wait. I have learned not to say an exact date, but soon, for the next episode for sure. Fuck, I do not know how it's going to be resolved. Because, like, I don't want to see Victoria die. Um, yeah, just holy shit. I like the decision that Yen will speak directly to the skull, but we don't hear the skull say anything. Neither, because they could do it as like voiceover where it's clear, oh, it's like telepathy, or they could have like a voice emit from the skull. I mean, it has an eye. I know it wouldn't really have a, yeah. Doesn't even have a tongue, not even one that's been like fucked up by spider venom. I think, yeah, I genuinely, I can hardly wait to see what's next. What new revelation we'll get. Um, and yeah, also the fact that, yeah, because Esther said, I'll put you in touch with the local chapter, and now we see it. Now we see what they do and why it must be kept secret, because this is, especially if someone was able to like prove that it has a connection to the Vatican. Listen, Catholic Church really does not need any more bad fucking press.